Guys, what is going on? I hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. Friday's my favorite day personally, although I hate going through the weekend because trading's my life. I love trading. So having nothing to do on the weekend, not trading, it sucks, but it's a good time to spend, with your significant other or whatever it may be. It's a good time to get a break and step away from the charts once in a while. But I do want to talk about my quick trade that I got into this morning. Um, it was a really awesome trade. Obviously, this morning, if you guys keep up, we had news at 10 o'clock. So I didn't play anything until after the news drops because if you guys play or watch the charts during news, you can see that we'll get some pretty crazy volatility. And that's exactly what we got here at 10 o'clock. We had, just a straight, huge candle, which took us out. This fair value gap down here, I actually marked yesterday on last night's video, and that hasn't dropped yet, but that is going to drop, and I highly suggest you guys watch it because I put in some price targets there. And some of you are going to go, well, what's the point if it had already happened? I showed everybody how I mark up my charts for market open at 6 p.m. for the futures. Okay, so I highly encourage you to watch that video so you can see exactly how I mark my charts, exactly how I was basically able to set a trade and walk away, and not be worried at all. The price target hit. We're going to work on getting those videos out soon enough for you guys to be able to watch before market open. But last night, obviously, we just didn't get it out. But it will be out. And again, please watch it because there's so much free information in there. A lot of these YouTubers will kind of explain things, but they don't really have the proper way of explaining things. And you get done watching the video and you're like, what the heck did he just say? Or it's like an hour long video. And most of us, at least me, don't have the attention span to watch a video that long, but this one's about 20 minutes, I think. So, and like I said, there's no BS. It's just getting straight into it. So watch that video when it drops. But as far as this video goes, I just want to kind of explain what I looked at, and why I got into the trade that I did. So this was a fair value gap play on a higher time frame. So obviously this fair value gap here, let's go to the 30-minute. I actually marked, you'll see it on that video that I put out. That's from last night. That's going to be put out today. I marked this fair value gap yesterday, for the 6 p.m. play. Sorry about that. That was my phone. I marked this fair value gap yesterday, so you'll see that this was marked yesterday on that 6 p.m. video that's going to drop. I expected price action if it ended up falling. And this is a new fair value gap I marked. This wasn't here before. There was actually a different one up here, but it ended up falling right down into this fair value gap that we marked last night. And what happened, I talk about it on a lot of my videos. If we get a wick below the fair value gap, it's really not a big deal. What we really want to see is we want to see candle bodies close within that fair value gap, right? So what do I mean when I say that? Well, if a candle body closes below this fair value gap, then the fair value gap is broken, right? We need to remember that candle wicks are it's where price went. There was no buyers or sellers, and it goes back up into a body. The body is really what you want to pay attention to with a lot of TA. Obviously here though, there's going to be a lot of liquidity. This was kind of engineered liquidity, if you want to call it that. But so this morning at 10 o'clock news, we're on the higher time frame. Let's get back into the 5 minute. Obviously I waited because news, so some people would have said, well, why didn't you get in there if it was respecting that fair value gap? Just because news was about to drop, so I waited. But I did have my eyes on this fair value gap up here, and you guys just seen that on the 30-minute. Why did I mark that? Well, you can see this wick, this is a fair value gap on this big red candle here. So what I did was I played a quick scalp just because it is a news day, so I expected things to be a little volatile, maybe a little choppy today, because typically on news days you get a big move and then you'll kind of have chop the rest of the day. But we came up, I got into a short right here at the top of this fair value gap. Now, if the body of the candle would have shot through this fair value gap, I probably would have stayed away, just because sometimes news has the capability to go right through a fair value gap to the next, to whatever the next level is, right? But I went short here because it was kind of inching up there really slow, and then I caught this candle. It wicked all the way down to the bottom of this fair value gap, and it was a quick $250 for me. Again, I've just been playing one ES contract because I'm trading at night and during the day. So I'm averaging around $1,000 a day right now doing this. Again, if I went in heavier with maybe 2 or 3 ES contracts, obviously I could be doing 3-4 grand. But right now, I've just been doing one contract because I really want the people watching these videos to understand that they can literally do the same thing that I'm doing and be profitable. So many people end up blowing up a funded account or a margin account by over leveraging, right? They don't have enough fluff in there to be able to go in with 3 or 4 contracts. So it's important to start out with one. If you can be profitable consistently with one contract, you're going to be profitable consistently with 5 contracts, 10 contracts. So that's exactly what I did today. And then obviously price action came right up and we marked these end dogs. Look at how strong this end dog opening and close from last night is. Price action is hovering right around that area right now. So, and then you can see it wicked right off of the 8-9 2 days ago, the end dog. So that's why I keep those. Some people are going to ask, how long do you keep those end dogs on your chart? It really just depends, guys. I mean, usually after about a week or two, I'll delete them. But you'll see these levels are going to be very strong support or resistance levels. So we do have a little bit of consolidation going on right now. What I'm looking at is down below. We do have this fair value gap obviously got filled. You can see it wick down. But we do have this fair value gap that hasn't been filled yet. And that's not a coincidence, guys. The market intentionally did that. So I expect this is going to be a level that the market falls to fill this fair value gap. And then while it's down here, it'll probably just grab the lows. And then what happens after that? Well, we're probably going to come up to this buy side liquidity and grab this. Doesn't have to happen today. We are pretty far down. This could happen next week at some point, but we're going to keep that box on there until that liquidity is grabbed. Remember looking at this big down, this huge sell-off that took place here. We need to look at potential, it's not just going to be a straight shot up to this liquidity. We have fair value gaps and voids that I obviously haven't marked yet, but I will mark those. But we have this fair value gap here that hasn't been filled yet. We have fair value gap here. This one hasn't been filled yet. We have this one here that hasn't been filled yet. So there's a lot of fair value gaps on the way. So that's going to be, your areas where you see price action kind of fall a little bit, pull back, then go up, pull back. Some of them it might blast through, but it's important to look to the left and draw those levels out so you can see areas where you're going to have pullbacks to potentially have a better entry for your long into this liquidity here. So that's the video. Just wanted to show you guys, mark your charts. It's that simple. Mark those fair value gaps. They work every time, especially for quick scalps and things like that. So that's the video, guys. I will see you on the next one. Thank you everyone for popping in, and I hope this video helps.